Good morning, Arabella and Trevor. Are you excited for some math today? Yesterday, we started to talk about place value and we started reviewing place value and what the values of the digits are when we are looking at a number. Because even though we can read the numbers, once they're in their place and it's a multi-digit number, they each have a different value and they're worth more than what that digit specifically says. When they're in their certain place, they're worth more or maybe even less. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the place value chart and what that looks like. So I'm going to share that screen with you. Okay, here we have our place value chart. And if you notice, over here is what you've seen lots and lots of times since about first grade. We have our hundreds place, our tens place, and our ones place. Now, this whole piece is called the ones period. And Trevor, when you were on yesterday, we talked about the thousands period also. Today, we're just gonna focus on the ones period, okay? Where we have the hundreds, tens, and ones. And you guys are both used to seeing those numbers in the ones period. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So here we go. Okay. Let me use this size. Good. So when we write a number that's maybe in a regular number, how about 4? The number 4 is in the ones period and it's in the ones place. But if we added a 2 to that and made it 24, this 2 is in the tens place. The 4 is in the ones place, 24. If we added a number in front of that, like 7, we now have a 3-digit number. This is the hundreds place, this is the tens place, and this is the ones place. So this is worth 700 because it's in the hundreds place, right? And then this one is in the tens place. So Arabella, if we have 2 tens, we really have how much? 10 and 10. Good. 20. And then that 4 is in the ones place. Not as easy to write with this as you may think. Okay, so we have this 7 is worth 700. That's its value. This 2 is worth 20. That's its value. And this 4 is worth 4. That's its value. Only 4. Okay, so I'm gonna undo what I just did because I want to look at this chart down here. You're very familiar with that. Now, if you notice right here, we have a decimal point. This decimal point tells me that everything over here is a whole number, a whole number. So if I have this rod, if I have this rod right here, if you can see me in the window, then you can see the rod. If I have this rod, I have a whole rod, right? But if I took pieces off of this rod, then it wouldn't be whole anymore. This unit is one piece of the 10 pieces that are in this rod. It's one piece of the 10 pieces. So this is 1/10. This side of our place value chart has the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. Today, we're just going to talk about the tenths. We're going to picture this rod every single time we talk about the tenths. And we're going to say that we only have pieces of this rod because everything on this side of the decimal point is not a whole one. It's only a piece of the one, okay? So the number that I have right here, 321, we say and when we get to this decimal point. 321 and 4/10. That means that I have, hold on one second, that means that I have 4 pieces of this whole rod, okay? Only 4 of them. I don't have the entire whole. I only have 4 pieces. So I would have 421 and 4/10, if that's what that number was, okay? So we are talking about the tenths today. We are talking about just looking at that, what that piece is. 300, it wasn't 400, it was 300. 321 and 4/10. Now, if I write this number, really? Can't I just write a 6 and you not change it on me? I would like 6, thank you. 600. And so now I have the number 600. 5/10 is what, Trevor? 50. 653 and how many tenths? 7/10. That means that I have 7 pieces of that whole. I don't have all 10 of them. I have 7 pieces of that whole. It's the same as a fraction, okay? So this 4/10, sometimes you've seen it like this. My pen. 4, no, don't do that. Where's my tools? Annotate. Draw. 4/10. And this one is 7/10. Right? You've seen the fractions like that. Decimals are another way to write a fraction, and these are the tenths. Okay. So now I want to look at this paper right here. And this will be in your Google Classroom, I'm hoping. I am still practicing and learning. So on the paper that you'll see, the first job that I want you to do is to highlight or circle all of the digits that are less than a whole. I did the first one for you. A whole is 10/10, just like I told you when we were talking about that rod. This is 10/10, that's one whole. The first example shows 6/10, and I highlighted that in green. There's 6/10. It's not quite a whole yet. So we read this number 45 and 6/10. So you're going to highlight all of the digits that are less than a whole. Okay? And then underneath that number that is less than a whole, I'm giving you a clue here, I want you to write the fraction that goes with that number. So for example, you would write for the first one next to it or underneath it, either way, whatever works for you, you would write 6/10. That's the digit that is less than a whole, 6/10, okay? So over here, the digit that is less than a whole, we would write 2/10. Highlight it first, and then write the fraction that matches, okay? Then, if I scroll down, you're going to do that with all of these numbers here. And if I scroll down, it says rewrite the numbers below as a mixed decimal. That means that the first part is your whole number. The and stands for your decimal point. And then this part would be your partial. It's not a whole. 4/10, 29 and 4/10. You're going to write what that number looks like right on the lines. You can either print this out, or if you have a way of getting into it that is easier than I am able to do at this point in time, you can do it right in Google Classroom if you can figure out how. I'm still working on that, and I promise you guys I will get there. It's a learning process for me. This is all new. But you can print it out, or you can write it on a separate piece of paper. You can always write these digits down on a separate piece of paper. Do it on a separate piece of paper. Take a picture of it, and then you can upload it into your Google Classroom for me. Okay, I hope that you have a great day. That's what you have for math today. I will talk to you soon. Bye.